Chaos playing behind me. And the next one coming up is Antichrist. And why am I playing Antichrist? Well, because it seems as though in the metal community, I seem to be surrounded by the all the themes of the things that we should be looking out for in these coming days, and maybe the reasons why we're there's a crossover, man. That's the funny thing, is that once you've been exposed to enough things like I have, I mean, I've been exposed to the extreme end of religious, fervor, all the way over to the other side of satanic influence. I'm going to turn it down so everybody can hear Tool try and do his thing. Yeah, what?
What I'm saying is that this is not a biblical thing.
It is, but it's not. I mean, the thing is that, again, there's a crossover. There's a crossover to what we've been taught and what actually exists. And maybe one is more related to the reality than the other, but it doesn't really matter in the end. It's. In other words, you can either accept the fate that's been handed to you.
Down your throat is what it is.
Yeah, well, and that's how most people feel about it, which is why I have no intention of going there. And this is the reason why this subject has become so difficult to really address, is that nobody, we've already had it rammed down our throats. So what, now the Silverback is going to be ramming it down my throat? No, not at all.
Exactly. We're not here to, if we come knocking on your door, we're not here to tell you about religion. We're either there to beat your ass.
Yeah, that's possible.
Or,
or put out a fire on the back end of your house. Hey, we noticed your house was burning down. I've got a bottle of Crystal Geyser over here, and I'm ready to go to town. So in case you're wondering what's in my really cute little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer flask here, it's reindeer piss, or otherwise known as rum. And like I said, I'm not nearly as deep as I normally am, but I'm going to pour a little DP on top of that, and because I'm all out of Shack soda. But Antichrist, playing now from a band called Brash. Exactly. Why play something about the Antichrist? Well, here's the funny thing, man, is this all plays back into, again, there's crossover. How is it, how so? Well, if you guys do any research on and here it comes. If you do any research on the Illuminati, most people, I mean, back in the day when we were first really introduced to the Illuminati, and even though they have existed for, hundreds of years.
They're still here, man.
Oh, they're still, no. They're not still here. They're about to take over. This much we know, because the New World Order depends upon it. If this is the first time you're hearing about the New World Order, again, you need to research Illuminati. If you can't figure out what exactly you're looking for, there's main themes: Illuminati, Freemasons. You're talking about the Antichrist. You're talking about the end of the world as we know it. Now, the end of the world as we know it means something different. That would be the biblical reference, right? So you got something that sounds a little bit more like the end of the world. Well, the end of the world has many meanings, just like heaven and hell have many meanings, and the natures of heaven and hell as we know it have been different through different societies over the ages. I mean, again, there are many versions of what heaven or hell or the afterlife is to any number of societies. Yeah, they all got their own versions, man. But the fact that they all have their own versions probably lends some credence to the idea that at some point they were taught or came to understand it in such a way. And interpretation is really only just a hair's breadth from each other, The point is that we all want to, in other words, if we're trying to find peace in the life after the one that we're living here on Earth, then whatever representation of that society needs to come up with. I mean, in other words, would you and I say, hey man, that sounds like that sounds awesome, that the version of heaven to some Ethiopian farmer is 100 cows out in a green field of wheat or whatever. That doesn't sound that great to me, but to them it sounds awesome.
It's much cooler to believe in skulls and and the darkness. It's much more intriguing to hear about really interesting anomalies that are happening.
Hey man, you're coming in about like your old show host. Uh-oh. Wait.
I'm doing what now?
Did I hear Satan? Hello? I got a little creeped out there. Okay. Yeah, you're coming in and out. You're coming in and out, dude. You're doing the Etheria thing on me.
Oh.
Yeah. No. Okay, there you are. Now come back. Tell me again what you were saying.
I said it's much more appealing to a lot of people to want to get involved in things that are like of the dark side, the skulls, heavy metal even. Anything dealing with, something that's intense has got to have an image of darkness and doom and gloom. It's an intriguing thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you see so much of a representation of it out there. Whether or not you give it credence for what it actually represents as opposed to your fascination with it because it is dark is two entirely different things. And it's also something that I think that my mom never understood, for instance. She didn't like all that stuff. This death and darkness and flames and skulls and demonic imagery and all this other crazy stuff that you like is all just basically saying, you're on Satan's side as opposed to God's side, right?
Right.
I never saw it that way.
Exactly what it is.
Because like I said before, I never drew power from it. In other words, I wasn't going to idolize some sort of dark demonic image to the extent where I actually carried the anger and the darkness and aggression that was associated with it to give me power to say, hey, I've got this behind me. This is me. And very often people are intimidated by that sort of thing. And that's exactly why a lot of people use it. You know what I mean? Is because they're kind of like, they're the downtrodden. But hey, this is something that gives me a little bit of, this is the hey, back the F off, back off me, man. I'm one scary mofo.
I'm the power cord.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly, dude. You try and get at me, you're gonna be getting at the the army of darkness. But again, I never looked at it that way, which is maybe the key difference between me and a lot of people is that a lot of people's curiosity turns into more of an acceptance of it. Oh, hell yeah. In studio now, my good friend and guest at the end of the show, co-host, someone who needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. We're talking to Mal 5 from the...
Ma, what's up, brother, man? Oh, my
What's
God.
happening?
Yeah, he's in the game. Oh, wait, is that you? You're 3. Go.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, there he is.
What's happening? What's good?
Ooh, now he's sharp.
How you doing, man?
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I'm fucking lovely right now. I just had to go get my man some whiskey because, it's just cordial to step in a man's show
Yeah,
and bring
there it
him a
is.
gift. You know what I'm
Jim
saying?
Beam.
And then I just bought some, I don't know, this is for my best friend. I saw some Polish beer in there, so I had to go ahead and get that. You know
Do you
what I'm
have something
saying?
to crack that with? Or
No, actually, I
do you
don't.
have a lighter?
I do not.
You don't have a lighter? Oh, I got
man.
one. Here we go.
That's all bad.
In case you guys haven't learned anything from this show, you're about to. This is the old open the beer with a lighter trick.
Yeah, these are both Polish beers. I gotta take a picture of this and send it to the homie real fast and shit.
Holy crap, man! I should be there, like drinking a Polish beer, man. This is
I'm trying to tell you.
This is my nationality.
Oh man!
Studio producer Mike is like, get my freaking cameras away from this maniac.
Can't see him.
He's like, I'm lighting off bottles like champagne over here, corking them. So, anyways, I've been going through a number of show themed songs here. The last one we missed, which I think I'm actually going to revert to that one real quick and play it again in case you guys didn't hear much of it. This one is called Life of Lies. And this one's coming on the heels of Antichrist, right? So we were talking about the Antichrist. Maybe we should just go back to that real quick and I'll let this one continue to play. Got my little playlist. I'm backing it up as we speak. So anyways, we got the Antichrist. Okay, what is the Antichrist?
The Antichrist is what's going on in this world right now, man.
Right, exactly.
It's not a person. It's all of us.
No, not true.
You don't think so?
No,
you think it's one person?
Let me explain you this. The Antichrist is one person, and that person is described specifically in the Bible, even though they are not named. But their name is just, in other words, if you do the research and you find out, you will know it. And what does the Bible say about the Antichrist? The number of the beast, right?
Yeah.
The number of the beast is 666. Now, how did they come up with that number? Well, in Hebrew, there was a certain numerology that was ascribed to letters. Okay, so they would address, let's say, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, or whatever, with 1 through 10. And then from there, it would go through, let's say, it would step up to the next decimal level. So you would be like from 100 to 400 or whatever. That's the way their numerology worked out, right? And so you ascribe a certain value to a letter. Okay, I'm gonna break this one down quick because we've only got 15 minutes to talk about it. I'm gonna try and lay this one out here, and maybe we'll carry on with this one later because it's interesting shit. Okay, so this is how it works. By using this numerology that the Hebrews came up with, the name Charles, both in English and in Hebrew, adds up to 666.
It is.
It does.
Wow.
Okay. Now this is pure fact. You can do it yourself. Find out that, do a little research. Okay, Charles. Who the fuck is Charles? Well, Charles is described as somebody who you might, from the outside, might look very meek. Somebody who looks almost like a weakling, like somebody that you go, wow, that guy's got no balls whatsoever. He's not very sociable. He's not very, he doesn't have any sort of commercial sort of look to him. Yeah. He ain't like Lady Di, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But he is like Prince Charles of Wales.
Huh.
Okay? Now, who is Prince Charles of Wales? He is, clearly he is the next in line to, no, he's not really the next in line to, because they've got the Di's kids.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. But who is Prince Charles? He is a very meek, very dorky looking, sort of individual. If you were to say Prince Charles, the immediate thing that would pop in your mind is this guy is, like a...
He looks like those cartoon characters. He looks like a cartoon character.
Exactly. And
I'm Prince Charles.
Oh, Prince Charles. Exactly. Exactly. Right? Well, exactly. But in fact, Prince Charles is a commander in 3 forms of the military. He's an accomplished horseman. He's an accomplished swordsman. He can drive a helicopter.
He's a fighter pilot.
He's a fighter pilot. This guy is actually a maniac. And had I not known this about him, I would have thought I could bitch slap Prince Charles any day of the week. But the likely fact of the matter is that he could bitch slap me easily, right? Now,
let's just go on this real quick here, Silverback.
Okay.
He was actually had a gun to his face.
Yeah. There was an assassination attempt on Prince Charles at one time, and it was a kid though, and he ran up there with a fake gun. Okay, he ran up with a fake gun, pointed it directly at him, and Prince Charles stood there like, yeah, and what are you gonna do with that, little boy? And when they asked him afterwards, how did you deal with the situation like that? Like, what is it in you that made you say, no big deal? He says, oh, that was just from a long line of lineage. That was just training from a long lineage. Right?
Wow.
Didn't blink with a gun pointed at him. Didn't even blink. Because he already knew. Right?
Yeah.
And what is going on in the background here?
What you got going on, man?
What are you doing back there? All right. Well, they're playing cartoons in the background, and as you guys know, Satan did call in last week, and he said he's watching the show, and I believe he is. Okay. So now we've established that the Antichrist is Prince Charles, right? Now, who's Prince Charles to us? Maybe nobody, except that Prince Charles also happens to have a when he was actually given his princely title, and he married into the English royalty, they had a crest made for him, and this crest was based on a bunch of symbolic, symbols and stuff like that had been created 500 years ago. Okay, so they take various aspects of his rule and of his name and of various things of that nature, and they say, and they ascribe a certain symbol to it, right? Well, amongst other things, never mind the fact that Charles, the name itself, in other words, everybody knows that their name has some sort of back meaning, right?
Yeah.
Well, Charles means man, or the man, right?
It means what?
The man. It means. It
does mean the man.
Yes, it does mean the man, and so this all ties into each other. I don't know if we're going to have a chance to get to all of this stuff, but what I will say is this: as part of his crest that they made for him, he has a symbol on there that is from the Order of the Garter. What is the Order of the Garter? Well, that is the very same order that is at the very top of the Freemasons Society.
Yeah.
Right. The Freemasons were the same people that created this country. Okay?
Yeah.
The people who created the original 13 colonies, went on to, lay out all of Washington, D.C., the founding fathers, as we all call them. They were all Freemasons. Freemasons are in the millions worldwide.
Oh, deep. Super deep.
Super deep. Okay. What does this mean? Well, if you say Freemasons, all you think is, Masonic temples. You've got, you got their little symbols and whatnot. They've got their protractor and their square, and all you think is, oh, well, this is a society based on, building things. And yeah, they are Masons as a whole, but Masons also ascribe a certain power to a set of numbers. And these numbers...
Power
numbers, right. And symbols, certain symbols, right?
Yeah.
Now, we all know
Triangle,
that our money is laid out in
The
such
triangle.
a way... Right, well, there's other things about it, but the most important part
the pyramid.
is the Eye of Horus, right? Which is at
Yeah.
the top of our pyramid, right? The
Yeah.
pyramid on the back of the $1 bill. That eye is the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
It can be compared to, let's say that all-seeing eye you might also see if you were looking at an America Online logo, right?
Yeah.
That same eye. And it applies across the board in corporations in so many ways.
Oh yeah.
And again, getting back to power numbers, so they ascribe certain levels of power to numbers from 7, 9, 11, 13. Then it goes to, I believe, 23, 27, 31, 33, and 39, I believe. I could be wrong about all of those, but the most important ones out of them, the ones that they give the most power to, are 13 and 33. Right? Numbers divisible by 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you were able to see the list of things that have taken place on those exact dates, your hair would stand up on end. Okay? I'm talking about all of them. I mean, never mind 9/11, right? Which are two numbers that are right in there, but very, very often that you'll see a number of historic events taking place, especially ones that were all very questionable, taking place on the number 13, whether it be a date, or whatever. But either way, so our founding fathers, right? Even going back to the Salem witch trials, they say that the Salem witch trials was a farce. Most of the women that were burned as witches were probably Christian women that found out about all these founding fathers practicing witchcraft out there, and they turned it around on them.
This is all around George Washington, isn't it?
This is all going around towards what? Towards what?
George Washington.
George Washington was a Mason. Yeah, he was. Well, all the original founding members, and the people who signed the Constitution were largely stonemasons.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, if you look at the layout of Washington, D.C., you'll see that almost in perfect geometry, so let's think about it. We've got an upside-down pentagram, right?
Yeah.
The points of which are laid out on a map if you laid down a map of Washington, D.C., and then you put an upside down pentagram on it, you would see that the corners of the pentagram all fall directly on specific corners, and that are also symbolic, because on let's say if you're looking at it, you're on the left side, it's a circle, on the top it's a circle, on the bottom left it's a circle, on the bottom right it's a square, top right is a square, and the other one is a circle as well. Now, they say that the point of the pentagram, the diving point of it, descends into the mind of Satan, right? Well, what just so happens to sit at the diving point of that pentagram? The White House.
Really?
It falls right dead on it. It dives right into the mind of Satan, right? So now we're talking about having the entire country and everything that we've known from our inception, 350 years plus, right, of history, all based on the numbers that the Masonics, that Masons ascribe power to. And what they say about power in terms of numbers is that the more often those numbers are used, where the vast majority of people don't have any idea the relevance of that ascription of power, the more powerful it becomes. What more powerful and global than the U.S. dollar? Nowhere in the world do people even want their own money more than they want a U.S. dollar, right? Even if it's not as
it's the magic dollar.
Even if it's not as powerful as it once was, it still is far more powerful than the vast majority of money out there, far more stable and far more used. I mean, people don't want their own money. You give them $1, they will give you anything you want, right? And so therefore you're actually spreading the power of that dollar to beyond our borders vastly, right? Okay, so you've got all this Masonic symbolism and numbers ascribed to the things that are involved on the dollar itself, right? You've got the entire power structure of our government laid out in a pentagram, right? George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. You've got what's his name? Willie.
There's a lineage that follows.
What's his name? I'm
Barack?
sorry. No. Well, yeah, Obama is also involved as well. In fact, he just did an address with 13 candles behind him. But But no, actually, what I was getting at was Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is also involved. He came up in an order of
the Bushes Masons. Is a long line of it themselves.
Oh, they all are. They all
for
are.
The last like 40 years. They've
been
White
planning
House.
this for a long time.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, it's deep.
So what you really have to wonder is how much power does Washington D.C. hold over us? How much power does the money that we carry in our pockets hold over us? Right? It's a witchcraft that we literally carry around with us at all times. It's affecting us because we don't know about it, right?
Yeah, if you don't
know about it,
no one gets half the battle.
Well, that's true, and that's the thing, and that's why I feel like I'm not quite so as affected by it as a lot of people, because I do know about it. I've known about it my whole life, and even though I never walked in those in those religious footsteps, I do still know, and I do still have my eyes open.
Redirection of thought.
Yeah. Like when you go to Washington, like I've only been once. When you go to DC, it's not what you think it is. It's really different. It's awkward. I don't like it at all. If they hold another Rock the Bells out there this summer, I'm not going. I already
Washington D.C.
It's a hellhole. It's
the murder capital of the entire country.
Yeah, it goes back and forth between there and Maryland, Baltimore.
Right.
So, which is right next door. So,
and one of the first places where they
what up to all my hood folk out in White Oak, Maryland? You know what I'm saying? And out there in Virginia, you know.
What's up to all my peoples in North Carolina, man? You guys are close to that shit too. And the thing is, in Washington D.C., which is only a few hundred miles north of where my people are at, they've taken away all the guns. In Washington D.C., yeah, absolutely illegal to have a gun. Period. Period.
It's federal, right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's just it. Columbia. Is what does a government seek to do before anything else?
Take away your weapons.
Take away your weapons.
And that's why you see rappers that used to vocalize about guns talking about not guns, no guns, but they're getting steadily paid more and more and more.
Right. Yeah.
And I wonder why.
Jay-Z, they say he's a Satanist.
Oh, yeah. He's open about it. The way he even flaunts it sometimes in a lot of his material is just ridiculous.
Right.
And nobody's even paying attention to
that's
it. All
just
the flashing, the imagery. It's like, are you kidding me? This has nothing to do with the song.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with the song. Like when Beyonce does her little dances and shit and certain things that they do and their offerings in the videos that they're imitating, that's crazy.
Right. Exactly. And it goes across the board. I mean, this is, I mean, hey, listen, guys, if I make it back to the mic next week, I hope Mal will join me for a little bit. If he wants to join in a little bit more,
I'll get in early.
Hey, man, who knows? Maybe we'll segue into your show right now.
Yeah, we can go segue into mine, definitely.
I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna put that on you. What I will say is that it's out there. It is out there. If you are not paying attention and again, if you're wondering where the fuck I'm going with this, maybe you want to flashback a little bit. Just flashback a couple shows. Go on YouTube. Go on Ustream. Go on iTunes. Download the podcast. Whatever. We are the S.F.V show, Silverback Full Volume. I am Silverback, and Tool Ranchula's with me. As per usual, we got Mal 5 from the In-Game show. Yeah, dude. I love this guy because he's with me on this, and I know that the family's with me on this too, but we didn't talk about it too much because it is a big old deal. We are coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. In fact, we're going to segue out of here just in time, man. We got about
one of them
30
numbers.
more seconds. Yeah, so...
You are listening to the Resistance.
Go ahead. I like this one. It's the S.F.V show. Pull up your pants, people. Oh, did you do that one? Yeah, do it. Oh, hold on. I got to play this one real quick. I'm going to turn this up. I think we did some funny shit back in the day. And Producer Mike might have actually made something out of it. Let's see what happens. Yeah. What is that? Is it anything? Go. Oh. Here we go.
Pull up your pants, people. It's the S.F.V show.
I love that.
Pants, people. It's the S.F.V show.
You're listening to S.F.V.
So turn it up, because the only way to listen to Silverback is full volume.
Oh, I'm going to use that next week. There's a whole bunch of cool shit. All right, that's the Rock and Wrap Up. Coming up on next.
Hollywood Rock and Wrap Up with your host, Jason Hadley.
And coming up next, we've got Mal 5 on the in the game show.
You know what it do.
Right? All right. Peace, people. Will be out, and next week we're coming back with a little bit more on this subject.
Have fun, guys. Love y'all.
Texas are firing
See you,
Charles
too.
Barkley after comments he made about the city's abundance of heavyset ladies, and got in even more trouble when he told San Antonio's fat females to lighten up. Arnold Schwarzenegger suing a nutritional products company for using his name without permission. Of course, Arnie rarely puts his name on products, but mostly because Schwarzenegger has so many letters it wraps around the bottle twice. Cited for riding his bike the wrong way down Fifth Avenue, Alec Baldwin took to Twitter trash-talking New York City police. NYPD's Twitter account responded by saying all trash talk should be directed to New York City Sanitation. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.